I'll say it's a lot of fun. It's something we've been working on for a while, something we've really bought into, I think, as a team, and you're just seeing all that buy-in come to life on the floor. I think we've been due for a win like this. We've been putting in a lot of work. We've seen a lot of results in practice and everything. We just haven't seen it in the game, but tonight was, I think, a night that was well-deserved for us.
How much has it helped your game, just that style of play, being able to get downhill and play fast?
I think it's great. I think being able to get into the paint is something that I think I'm really good at, and so it just makes it easier. Everyone's moving, reads are easier. The decision making just becomes a lot easier, and everyone becomes a recipient.
You talk about playing fast, but how much conditioning work went into that in the off-season and preseason, maybe more than usual, to play this speed right away?
Yeah, I think a lot of guys would tell you we did a lot of running in training camp, and even preseason leading up. We were always doing drills to get us conditioned, and it prepares for this. And we feel very confident in our conditioning going into third quarter, fourth quarter. We know that we can lean on that and understand that we put the work in to get our bodies in the best shape possible.
Seemed like there was a really nice and comfortable chemistry with that second unit, that you picked up where the starters left off. What was the feeling running and gunning with those guys?
I mean, obviously it's pretty easy, whether I'm a first unit or a second, it's easy to play with these guys. Especially with second unit, I feel like I can probably look better because they play more of a really, really fast-paced kind of style of basketball. So it helps me, and it's more movement. We don't got a lot of really ISO players like the first unit. So yeah, it helps. But it's easy to play with everyone. Like I said, it was a matchup thing today. We started with Khalil and Bam. Who knows? Maybe tomorrow I start again. But it really doesn't matter to me.
You've been here long enough to know this is not typical Erik Spoelstra Heat, and the way you're playing at the pace you're playing right now. Yeah. Are you surprised that he has stayed with it and allowed it, and you can reap the rewards?
Yeah, because since that game, we always say that we're going to play fast every year. We don't really do it, and we're going to go back to a slow pace, get steady in the post, and make sure you know how to attack. This year, from jump, really, he really wanted us to play this way, and I feel like coaches and everybody were pretty happy in the locker room because we haven't really had games like this in last season, in the last few years, where we just go off and do what we know we can do, and we really stay dedicated. I feel like all the running and the training camp that was really hard, I think it will pay off, and it will for sure help us look a lot better.
The results have obviously been really good through the first two games. What do you feel like the faster pace maybe has unlocked, just offensively with you guys? How do you guys get to these numbers?
Having a great defense, I feel like is really important. But I think defense can get you only to one point. I feel like offensively you have to be great. You have to put ball in the basket if you want to win. And we maybe don't have the best names in the league, but playing this way helps us put more points on the board and just look better. It's easier for guys like me, Jaime, Wiggs, to just score easier and be more efficient this way. And this for sure gonna help us win.
We've been working on that all off season, man. Relocation and shoot it. Obviously, I've evolved a lot through my 9 years in this league, so just seeing a lot of this and keeping up with the game.
Year 9 for you, and I think the first 8 years you've probably been a bottom 10 pace team. Now to see you guys playing at this speed, how surprising is it, and how fun is it to play this style?
No, not surprising at all. We knew after last year, Spo was going to switch up the whole philosophy of this offense. He told me that. He said he wanted us to play faster, and we are. Playing with a pace like this, you love to see everybody collectively having fun, everybody getting to touch the ball. Like, you can't really scout plays for us. There is no plays in the whole first pass. I don't think Spo ran a play. And that just shows, besides denying Norm in the corner. But what did I shoot? 4 for 8? Yeah, Norm could just stay in the
Were
corner.
there times in the game when you looked at the scoreboard and saw, we have that after one, we have that total at halftime? I mean, were those numbers did they require a double take, and could you honestly at points know how much you were ahead by? Doing the math.
Yeah, but that's how you get soft in the mind. And our thing was we wanted to win this game. We felt like we let one go in Orlando, but we said that we hold them to one shot and run. We're in good shape, and we did that tonight.
A couple of the guys have talked about the conditioning work that went into playing this style. How much of that has played into the way you guys are playing early on, and how much you see it as an advantage late in games when you're playing other teams?
I mean, you see it. You see it when we have some hard days in training camp to get ourselves ready for this type of playing style and playing that fast. It started from early playing and pickup. When we're playing, we got to get the ball ahead for 4 seconds, and playing with that type of pace all summer, you get used to it. So now it's second nature for us at this point. We got little things to clean up, turnover wise, but as far as us playing with this type of pace and space and everybody feeling involved, this is a great thing for a team like this.
After the loss to Orlando, was there more of an emphasis to get down and dirty and get the hustle plays tonight?
Yeah. I feel like that was the deciding factor in that game. And, you hate to lose games when it comes to 50-50 balls. A guy just diving on the floor makes a play, and it leads to a layup and those backbreaker offensive rebounds that we let go. So, yeah, it was a different mindset coming in this game.
You guys seem to be moving with a lot of intention, not just moving body-wise, but also the ball. You said you guys did that in pickup. How long do you see this lasting, or are you trying to make it last all season?
Trying to make it last all season. It's fun when we play like this. It's fun when we can get up and down. We can run with that pace. And obviously, miss or make shots dictate that, but our thing is just to keep playing this style of basketball where there's no hold, we're swinging, we're cutting. Like I said, it's hard to scout a team when everybody's live. So that's what we're trying to get to. That's trying to be our identity.
All right.
I know you might not say you drew it up that way.
No, definitely did not.
But just to see what you envisioned in camp and before come to fruition, how satisfying and fulfilling is it?
Well, it was good to see it on both ends of the court. There was a collective will again. But this is very similar to what we saw on opening night in Orlando. Just obviously a little bit more, oomph going, the other way. But we had seen more of these kind of moments during training camp and, preseason practices. And then stretches, during the preseason. That's why we were, encouraged. This is probably a little bit of, a little bit of everything. It was probably an off night for them. We were disappointed about not coming away with the win in Orlando. We really felt like once we were up 7 that we should have won that game. Guys were really motivated to get this one tonight. Everybody was in a good rhythm, particularly in that first half. But it was good to see us, show this, in a game where it's not just our practice sessions, behind the scenes. Yeah, he did it, and that's what he did the other night too, right? I mean, his play and his competitive will that's an inspiring act. For everybody else to raise their level. He did it, taking the challenge, obviously, on a great player, but also anchoring our defense. And then offensively, he was just in a great flow, great rhythm. He's making quick decisions with it. His confidence is just continuing to grow. He's had, a lot of, sessions like this in our practice sessions. But he's also not forcing it. He's making the right play if he needs to. If the ball finds him, he's just being really assertive, and that's what we need from him.
The big lineup, was that a matchup thing? Was that something after looking at the
take Wednesday? You thought might settle the rotation?
No, I mean the last 4 days of preseason, it was both guys were hurt. I'm talking about Kalel and Nico. They're minor injuries, but I didn't know who was going to be available that first night. I was kind of leaning toward this starting lineup going into game one, and then Kalel had a neck spasm. Then he had a minor sprained ankle where he didn't practice the day before the game. But he was moving great in the Orlando game. I wanted, if I would have known that, I would have liked to have had more minutes for him. And this is, a good way to get all three of those guys the minutes, that we need in Bam and Kalel and Nico. But we'll see. There might be certain games where it makes more sense to start Nico. It doesn't really matter in my mind. I know, probably to other people it might, but those guys are going to get minutes, and we need Kalel and Nico to grow and assume more responsibilities as the season goes on, regardless.
Game about Simone, and then basically what you said came to fruition. How much of a spark will he be off your bench in that role?
We just want to continue to feed him confidence. Pregame, Italy was my scout, so I literally watched every single one of his games for 2 years over there, and he's an explosive number one option, for Italy, and when you shoulder those kind of responsibilities and have everybody game planning against you and still able to have, big games, that was really impressive. He was one of my favorite players from both of those tournaments. When we had an opportunity to acquire him, I felt like I knew his game really well, and I thought that it would be a really good fit. He competes on the defensive end as well, so I think that'll continue to get better.
That bench as a whole, you look at the plus minus, plus 40, plus 30, and I know it's obviously a lopsided game, but just how impactful were they, things that makes that group on the bench?
Yeah, we would love to have that, and we want to feed them confidence. They're a group that is better than the sum of their parts, because they play really well together. They play a collective game, and their games complement each other. Defensively, they're solid. So hopefully that can continue to grow, and hopefully, our starters set the tone for games for us, and then, our second unit can change the energy of a game. That's really what you want from a second unit.
So it seems like, you just talked about growth with Jaime. Seeing the growth from game to game tonight for Jaime, Nico, and Kalel, how did you feel on the sideline seeing them bounce back and perform?
Yeah, it's fun when you see it all come together, and for each one of them. That's not going to happen every single night. From my lens, it's going to be really important how they handle it when the game's not going necessarily their way or in a flow where they might not have, just that great rhythm. How can they still impact the game? How can they get back and impact it where it's not going to snowball the other way? And each one of them have been working on that, and they each have different things, to try to focus on. I don't have to get into all those details right now, but Jaime's been in a really good place all summer long. He spent a great deal of time, in LA and a significant amount of time in Miami. He came into camp really prepared, clear mind, and I think, how we're setting things up just really plays to his strengths. All right, thank you.